Hello and welcome to this, your Designing Your First Email Template lecture. What we want to start with is to use your HubSpot account, your designer account, the account you've been using all along. What we're going to put in here is that a help with HTML5 and cascading style sheets, as email is nothing more than using some of the HTML and cascading style sheet code you already know. I've put various links on the slide to help provide you with additional information. Notice the second link down here, the marketplace is a place you can go and we'll share with you to get email templates at charge or at no charge that you can use to customize or just to use as your project. So our agenda today is as follows. We want to take a look at email and continue to reinforce that which you had heard in your design certification. We want to tour the tool, create a template and create an email, style it, look at some best practices, and a couple how-tos. So to begin with, let's start our discussion with the introduction to email. What is CAN-SPAM? CAN-SPAM is, if you will, a law where it's establishing the rules for what you can and cannot do with email. So it provides the rules for commercial messages. It gives those that receive those emails certain rights. And it outlines the penalties for those who violate the law. I've put the link here at the bottom so that you can go read about it, but the penalties are rather severe. And you have certain things that you want to make sure you're in compliance with. For the spam email, I won't go through it now, but there's a great TED Talk. It's a rather humorous look at spam email. So to begin with, what are email types? Remember, spam law said that the individual is allowed to unsubscribe. So if you had a variety of content on your site, perhaps blogs, perhaps pricing information, product information, internal information, in our case, information about the GMAT, or perhaps information about various concentration and courses, individuals could sign up and receive that particular type of information. So if you engage with them successfully, maybe they wanted to stay and listen to that particular topic. So rather than subscribing or unsubscribing from everything you offer, you can create various types of information. And then individuals can subscribe or unsubscribe to various types of information that you produce. This is a key point as we develop our emails and our email templates that you must be aware of. So what we want you to provide here is a tour of the email, but a couple things. In addition, as an ISM individual, you're providing the value in terms of how you can manage or what types of insights you can provide. The email analytics here provides you that which you can help provide your organization what's happening with the various email. Who opened it? Who clicked on it? Where were they engaged? Let's look at a heat map and say what somebody clicked on. How long did they read the email? So that's part of our job. The other part of our job is to create these emails. So we can build templates. In this particular template, we could have a newsletter template. We could have a greetings holiday template. We could have various organizational templates that we want to use for our emails so that they look nice. So you're not getting that standard text only, bunches of links, unthought out of type emails, but you're getting an engaging, something that somebody wants to see template. For our project, you're going to create a template and you're going to send an email. Well, let's make it real easy for you. Rather than to create the template, why don't we go to the marketplace.hubspot.com and buy one. Or if you will, we're going to look at the $0 ones for purchase. And the example is Season's Greeting. And we can download that and we'll have that template to work from as a model. The idea here is that rather than spending a significant amount of your time developing the template, you could easily acquire one and customize it. With those templates, in addition to just acquiring them, there's you could perhaps sell your own, or you could figure out how to get support so that you can have them customize your template. We're not going to do that, but if you get into a situation where you're working and your organization wanted that type of thing, that is available. Let's tour the tool. Here's the email dashboard. And again, what we said was that as a MBA ISM graduate, you'll be providing insights. So here's the dashboard. Number one, as you can see in the upper right hand corner, is you can search for particular emails by name. Number two, also in the blue bar in the upper right hand corner, is you can create a brand new email. That's what we're going to do as we work through the project. Three is, and you can see in the center top, you could filter through for various campaigns. So for example, maybe I'm building a marketing campaign about acquiring students for the finance major, and that is one of the campaigns we'll work on. So I could filter and just get those emails. Number four is I might want to look at and examine click rates or open rates. So in the upper right, number four is the drop-down menu list where I can get that particular type of information. In the upper left, for our dashboard, we could take a look at all the emails that were sent or those that are scheduled to be sent. Perhaps those that are still under draft mode. Down underneath that, for additional tools, we can see our call to action button, which we could put into our emails. Perhaps workflows, perhaps different types of settings. The workflows we will not cover in great extent here in this course, in fact not at all. We cover it in 7505, but the idea for workflows is, how do I send emails? I could build a workflow where if somebody downloaded my ebook, I could send them a thank you note. And maybe in a week I could say, gosh, did you lose the link? Would you like to have that link back, and send them that additional link? Or I may want to send them a survey update saying, you downloaded this content. Would you like additional content on that particular topic? So we continue down then for number 7, underneath it, we can build folders so that we can organize our information. The bottom center, you have various types of information. Spam reporting for emails that have been sent, unsubscribed, invalid addresses, etc. for that particular email that you're sending. And then at the bottom are drafts. One of the things that hopefully you've picked up and learned is with email, it's pretty much different based on any and all devices that you have. So you want to test on all of these different devices. But that's a lot of devices and a lot of work. So hopefully with the analytics, you said, these are the emails I send out, and typically these are the devices that people use to open my email. So those are the ones I want to make sure look nice. I may or may not worry about all the others. We said we personalize, we want responsive, and we want smart content. For responsive, we want it to fit on all of our devices. For smart, we want it to be customized into focus on particular things like what organization are you at? For personalization, the easiest way to think of personalization is to use somebody's name. Maybe you'll personalize it for their industry, maybe you'll personalize it for the particular company, etc. But the first step is using the individual's name. So we want to personalize that. Here's our analytics again. But what we want to look at here is you can look at the engagement, you can look at deliverability, and you can see who is subscribed and unsubscribed. For the recipients, you can look to see what has the individual done. Have they opened the email? How long have they looked at it? So there's a variety of videos on your class website. I won't go through them here, but if you want, you can see the links are there, as well as on the class site. You'll see part 1, how to grow your email list. Part 2, how to get delivered to your inboxes. One of the things is you look at the inbox, and you saw in your email certification was the scoring that the servers will go through and say, you as a sender, are you spamming me? What do people think about you? And are you sending out valid content? So they'll score you on a score of a 0 to 100. They'll see if that you should be blacklisted and not allowed to send through their server. They look to see how many spam complaints you might have. They look to see, are people engaged, or do they put it in their email box and then just ignore it? So you are getting graded, which says that your email may not go to everyone you think you're sending it to. And here's an example, for example, using the sender score for Wayne State. As you can see in the upper right, the Wayne State Undergraduate Office sent out an email on incomplete applications. It was sent out, and as you can see on the bottom, here's the score that various servers graded that email. Anything below a 70 is going to get filtered, and probably the individual will not see it. And you can see here the servers that it was sent to graded it 20, 18, 15, 9, 3. So while Wayne State's sending out this incomplete application mass mailing, the servers are going, wait a minute, this might be spam. This might be something that we don't want our recipients to see. Here's a video that you can watch, how to get emails open, how to improve your click-through rate, and how to do testing. So what we want to do now is to look at how to create our email template. So we want to create something like a newsletter that would look with an image, maybe some text, headings, some white space around it. So again, you can create your own, or perhaps you want to download it. So you go to the marketplace.hubspot.com, and in this case, I'm selecting the free and downloading it. On the email templates, some things to be aware of is that there are many variables you could use. These variables include things like the company city, the company name, state, address, and the unsubscribed link. These are things that the canned spam law says that you must have in your email. You must say who it's coming from and how they can unsubscribe. So these were elements that we will have in our content settings. So when we build our template, we could load that type of information in. So we could drag the footer or maybe the logo and place it on the screen. Now as you looked at those things, notice that those statements were Hubble statements. Now if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense right now, just take a moment and say, let's see if we can just work through it and figure it out. So I might be buying this template from someone and they have done some things to it that maybe I want to customize. The way they wrote some of the templates is they use these Hubble code. And you can see at the bottom, the comments are nothing more than a brace pound sign. Expressions. Expressions being the setters and the getters where you're going to set information. And those would be brace brace. There might be other things that we want to use, such as the brace percent sign, where we could build if-then logic, where we could define variables or we could edit things. So just with that syntax in mind, not that we're trying to get you to write all of that, but just to read it. So let's say you've downloaded that template and you looked at it and you said, well, gosh, they have this module here that says open this module to change the cascading style sheet. And you open it up, and the next pages that we have here are the code that's in there. You say, well, wait a minute. First set of code says brace percent set link color to that. You say, well, I know what that means. We've done the projects where we've done the pound red, green, blue. So it was red, red, green, green, blue, blue. So that's the color. Now they're saying put it into link or hover or bright color. So you say, wait a minute. They're setting that color for me. So on the email, wherever they're going to use this link color, that's the color. So if I wanted to modify the color, I've already learned how to do the red, green, blue and modify it. So I could go in here and change that color. Or you could say, well, wait a minute, I could just delete it. Continuing down, you can see they've built style sheets. And so this is a embedded style. And we said the content table outer has the pound sign in front of it, and that meant ID equals. Well, we already knew that. So we could go through and we could read what they're trying to do. The dot table is our class names. So we say, well, I understand how to do all that already. H1, that's the header. They're changing the font size and the height here. So you could easily go in there and modify and update some of that code. Same with the links. And you say, wait a minute, now I see where they said color, link color. So in the previous side, I set the link color. Now I'm using it. So that's how they get the colors in place. So as we go through to create our new email template, we use our design, navigate to our design manager, click the new button in the upper right hand corner, select our template builder and email, and we've created or built a template that would look like that. Once we're in there, we could go into our module and edit our cascading style sheets. Remember that with style sheets in email, we have to go through and we can't have an external style sheet, but rather we have to do inline. And so each email will be uniquely designed. So let's create our email. In our work, we go to content. And then as you can see in the upper right, email. Once we've selected that, then we select the blue create new email. Then on the bottom left, you can see we chose template. Now hopefully we've downloaded it. If we haven't, we could download it now. So we can create our email and name it. Then you have the basic shell for the email. In that email then, as you go across the top, you can see that we edit it. There's settings. We can say who's going to receive it, review it, and then send it. Since we're in a development server, we will not send any emails out. And then along the left-hand column, you can see that there are various tools that we'll share with you. But to start, the first thing you'll notice is we said that we wanted to have our from and our subject line done. So we want to edit those details. In those settings then, we have the opportunity to give an email type. So if an individual chooses to unsubscribe, they would unsubscribe from this type of email that we send them. We can preview it. So along the left-hand side, we can check to see what our email will look like on a computer, on a smartphone, or on a tablet. This is where we send our test email. And this is where you'd send it to me. So we're in a development server, so we cannot send out email. It will deny and stop us from doing that. So what we will do is we will send a test email to ourselves, so we can put you and me in there, so I will receive your email once it's completed. You can then look at how well it was optimized. The yellow says that you may be doing something incorrectly. The green is it looks good. Then we send it to the recipients that we want. Or we could schedule it, save it, and run. So we can style it. As you saw, when you get into styling, you can assign various classes, or you can use your inline styling. Some tips, and hopefully you already picked up all these tips from the certification. Content is important. Stay within the editor. If you're going to use and copy something that you've built from like Microsoft Word, Be aware that copying from Microsoft Word brings additional formatting that probably will not work and will probably mess up your email. So you want to use simple text editing. By default, your email is in a responsive mode, and that's important as you don't know where people are using to view their email. There's a lot of good tools. Focus on the message. For most clients, keep it under 600 pixels wide. Make sure you follow the CAN-SPAM rules. I've built some how-tos. There are very many how-tos that you can use, but if you wanted to turn off responsive design, you could by going to your design managers, looking at actions, and putting in the make basic or make responsive. I'd leave it alone. You want it responsive. You could change the body width for all email. Now, most work well at 600, and that's the default. However, you might find that you want to change it to 500 or 550 or something else. In the footer for your email, make sure that you are CAN-SPAM compliant, so you can take a look at the various options. When you're looking at your footer, make sure you have these 5 items at a minimum: name, address, city, state, and how to unsubscribe. The nice thing in the footer then is you can lay it out however you wish. As you're looking at that, notice, for example, like the name. Those were smart elements. We had those and created those when we built our content settings. Now the system's just going to get that code. If you were interested, you could select the HTML, look at it, and you would see the various Hubble codes surrounding those names. Make sure you create various email types, personalize it. Here's a variety of email resources that you can use. And when you're finished, just email me, drjohn7994@gmail.com, and I'll receive it. Thank you very much for watching.